If I call you, answer your fucking phone.
First off, you're built like a melted action figure, so why the fuck would I want to look like you? The whole thing is a dead stop, so you're having to brace through that core and push the hips through. Now, I know
Same time you're punching out, boom, turn that hip.
2 guys, 1 bench.
Shit talking, strength sports, combat sports. Game over.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to 2 Guys, 1 Bench.
where we talk a lot of shit.
And we drop some truth bombs on your bitch ass.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Damn right. And hit us up, drop a comment. A douche!
Rant of the week. We're about to pop some caps.
Alright guys, let's get it kicked off with Rants of the Week. Russ, what do you got for us?
Well, last week we talked about old dudes and their perverted ways. Well, this week I'm going to talk about young dudes because they got their whole own set of problems. And that is, these motherfuckers just don't follow a rule of conduct. What I mean by that is, if I call you, answer your fucking phone. You don't have to text me back. I want to talk to you one-on-one. I might sound like your dad, but that's just the way it is. Another thing is, you guys have fucking no manly skills. If you fucking broke down on the street, you couldn't fix your tire, you don't know how to use a fucking screwdriver, a fucking drill, it's pathetic. I want you to fucking man up. Drill!
I know what you're talking about because even simple shit like signing your name, most kids can't do anymore because they don't know how to sign anymore. How the fuck did we get to this point? I don't really understand it. And I know what you mean, kids now. And I'm saying kids, as a 31-year-old, I feel like I'm 65, but they're pretty fucking useless at this point, and they operate at the rate like 12-year-olds did when we were young.
Yeah, we're definitely evolving into like this alien form where they're going to be really good at technology, pushing buttons and fucking artificial intelligence or whatever, but when it comes to daily life, you're going to be screwed!
All right, and for my rant of the week, what I want to talk about is the newer generation of influencer. When I was in high school, this wasn't really a fucking thing. No one knew what an influencer was. But now apparently you graduate high school and you immediately become a fitness influencer. You're either a powerlifting vlog or daily living or you're inspirational or you're a transformation coach or you're an athlete coach. Something that you've had literally weeks of experience in, but now you're going to tell other people how to live their lives. I see a lot of this shit online. One that comes to mind, a guy that was working out at my gym, but he's gone now. He'll know who he is. He was doing a Q&A, giving fitness advice to people. First off, you're built like a melted action figure, so why the fuck would I want to look like you? Second, you're 18 years old, so what experience do you have that I'm going to really benefit from? If you look shittier than me, you're way weaker than me, why the fuck do I want your advice? And it's just getting ridiculous that people can now make a career out of giving advice when they have absolutely no knowledge in their head.
Definitely. I mean, I've been watching some YouTubes over last week, and there's this fucking kid, Steve will do anything, or whatever the fuck his name is. And this asshole just got famous for getting drunk and high and eating as many edibles as he can or whatever. And now he's just, today I watched a video. He took a bum to get a fucking hand job. And yeah, that's a great story, but all he does is give away money and do dumb shit, and people watch this, and he's famous, and kids look up to him. They're like, Dana White's like, I'm going to fly you in, my kids love you. I'm like, this guy's the worst role model fucking out of anybody I know. What the fuck is going on?
Combat sports.
All right, everybody, combat sports, one of our favorite things to talk about. Drill.
So last night there was a UFC fight night between Sandhagen and Dillashaw. Dillashaw making his return after almost 2.5 years for testing positive for EPO, the CEO of EPO, as some people call him. Oh, yeah. And he got the win. It was in a decision. What were your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, I thought Dillashaw, got banged up, but he's just been in the game for a while. You're going to have those cuts. Sandhagen, more like sandbagging. That guy, had a good round in the first round, and then he just slowly started to dwindle. And, Dillashaw kept that pace. I'm a big fan of the longer the fight goes, the more you push the pace. I think you should get points for that, more than, running and trying to counter strike, definitely. Darrell?
Yeah, I'm a fan of it because he was definitely applying pressure. Sandhagen had one round where he clearly outstruck TJ, but for the most part, TJ applied pressure even when he was getting hit. He was going forward, he was the one being more active, and he was the one landing. So it's a pretty simple thing. I just like to see more consistency with judging in general.
Definitely. And that's all we gotta say. There's fucking flies in here. I'm going nuts. Oh!
Strength sports.
All right, now some strength sports, Darrell.
So this past weekend, there was a world record broken, and it was by Iron Biby on the axle clean and press, 217 kilos. I know that's fucking ridiculous, and it's a massive record. The old record was held by Eddie Hall, and Biby broke it, but it was a little controversial because he didn't do it on his first attempt, didn't do it on his second attempt. He got a third attempt after he put it down after his allotted minute, and he said, I'd like to try it again, and they let him do it again. I understand you want to play up to the crowd, but personally, if this was any other world record, I wouldn't be for it, but because Eddie Hall used to hold it, I'm all for it.
Yeah, speaking of Eddie Hall, well, looks like he fucking got injured. What do you know? Going by the video, looks like he threw some wild bullshit hook and detached his bicep. Looks like he had surgery. You know, Darrell, when you're throwing that shit technique, expect some injuries.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not surprised. I thought he would have got injured sooner, honestly. The fact that he made it this far is an accomplishment, but when you're realistically throwing a pec fly instead of a hook, I'm not surprised you blow out your bicep.
Definitely. And now Thor's looking for an opponent. Well, Thor, you want another fat fuck in your life? Talk to me. I've been trying to help you out with sparring. You got back to me, then you didn't. Well, now, you know, you need an opponent. Why not have someone with some experience? I was a world champion in powerlifting. Drug test, that means I'm not a fucking juice pig. You might have a chance to get to me with all the tremboloni sandwiches you're on.
Technique of the week.
What's up, everybody? Technique of the week. Well, Darrell's going to show us how to improve your deadlift with a good morning that's pinned.
All right, so I just want to get into an exercise I think can benefit pretty much anybody who's not doing them. It's the pin good morning. The reason I'm showing this is because a lot of people have the misconception that a good morning is just going to hurt your back and fuck you up. It's actually going to make you a lot stronger and help you in case things get squirrely on your lift. Everybody has those, whether it's a squat or a deadlift, times where you go out of the groove of your normal movement and you need to have the strength to rein it back in. So I just want to show you a pin good morning. The reason I'm using them is to help my bracing off the floor for my deadlift, and also it helps me in my squat if I ever come forward into my toes. But to get into the pin good morning, you're going to have a bar across the top. Ideally, if you have a second bar, you're going to have it down there, and I'll explain in a second. But the reason I have another one down there is because once I get under my first bar, people always wonder how far you're supposed to go down on a good morning. The way I say is you should hinge to the point where your shoulders are at your starting height for your deadlift. I know that's a mouthful. What I mean is when I hinge down, as if I'm gonna do my good morning, now that I have this other bar here, you see that my shoulders are actually a little lower than they need to be, but it's not too bad. So that's actually a pretty good starting height for a pin good morning. The reason I want it like that, and I have it relatively at the same height, there's going to be more transfer from the good morning into your deadlift. If you're used to driving through the shoulders because you don't want to put your head up with these good mornings, once you get into the heavier pulls, lock those lats in, you're going to find your bracing's a lot better off the floor. And I find breaking the floor with after doing a lot of good mornings has really helped mine skyrocket. So I'll just demonstrate a couple sets for you guys. So you can start them from the J hooks or you can start them from the pins. It's really dependent on how you feel, if you're comfortable with them or not. If it's your first time, I'd probably suggest taking them off the hooks just so you feel a little more safe and comfortable. Anyways, you're gonna get under them. Start in your deadlift stance, maybe a conventional narrow stance. It's up, hinging back, up. You're not trying to bounce off the pins while you're going. The whole thing is a dead stop, so you're having to brace through that core and push the hips through. Now I know people out there saying, well, I don't pull conventional, I pull sumo. So all you gotta do, make it a wide stance, easily just bring your feet out, same exact movement. And hinge over, up. Another added benefit, if you're pulling sumo and you have that wider stance, the one thing I find, you're not gonna have to go nearly as deep when you're performing the pin good morning because you don't get as bent over in your pull. So you're probably gonna be able to load up the weight a little bit more. But I would suggest anybody to throw those in if they're ever having problems with their upper back, losing it, whether it's a sumo, conventional pull, or if in their squat, they're finding sometimes they get in their toes and then they can't pull it back in and finish the lift. With the 2 bar setup, I know not everybody's got 2 bars. If you're training at home, you may not have that luxury. So a way to do it is simply set up your cell phone at the side and set up in a deadlift technique and kind of judge it on the rack where you are and just play around, workshop it a little bit to see what's the ideal height for you. You don't want to be going a lot lower than your setup. So if you're here for a conventional puller, you don't want to start that good morning down here. That's when you're going to feel it all in your back because you're in a compromised weak position. You want to stay roughly in the range of motion you're going to be using anyways. Hope that increases your guys' pull.
All right, all you pillow-fisted motherfuckers out there. I know you're having those bad nightmares where you're in a fight, you're punching, you can't knock the guy out, you're just useless. All you have. And I used to have those too when I, was this guy that didn't, practice martial arts or anything like that. In my dreams, I kick ass now. But one of the best ways you can strengthen your punches is with a landmine row and a barbell. You don't really need much weight at all. You can throw on, a 10 or 25, but if you're going for speed, just the bar is fine. I like to grab, right below here, get a nice grip. Okay, I'm gonna get in my fight stance. Hands up high, we talked about it last week. Not your hands down here like Eddie Hall, trying to punch like a fucking idiot, and that's how you snap your bicep. Now, hands up high, okay? I want you to also pay attention to my feet here. One of the biggest ways to increase power in your punches, and the only way really you should be punching, is to incorporate your hips. So I need that pivot, okay? So I'm gonna do a few here just with looking at my feet. Punch. Same time you're punching out, boom. Turn that hip. Okay? So now you know what my feet look like. You gotta have that pivot. I see people doing this all the time. Yeah, you're just kind of reinforcing a shitty technique. You should always have your hips going, all right? Next up, watch my hand. It's always up high, and I'm gonna punch up and pull it back quickly. All right, so that's a good technique in order to increase punching power. Now, you got to think about when you're fighting, when you're punching. I see this all the time. People like to push their punches, follow through, right? Or they throw a hook and they're going over here. All that energy is going behind you. Or an uppercut, oh, like a fucking idiot. All right? You want all that energy to be boom, right there, hook, right? And the best part about it is, or the most important part, is you need to get there and back quick. Right? The quicker the punch, the better. The punch that your opponent doesn't see is the one that's gonna knock them out. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in for another show. We had some fun making this one. I just wanted to give a shout out to a local company, or a couple, Bells of Steel and Strong Arm Sport. If you haven't noticed, my gym, Uteki Strong Academy, is mostly decked out with their stuff. It's great equipment. If you're building a home gym or a small gym facility, it's perfect. It's not overpriced, and it's made for functional training. You saw Darrell using the J hooks, the pins, everything's it's made for lifters, so I really enjoy it. Darrell?
Yeah, they have great quality stuff, whether you want to have a big gym or small home gym. It's the best thing, especially for the price. With everybody out there price gouging, they're one of the few companies that actually stayed loyal to their people.
Yeah, it sounds like they're making some calibrated plates for powerlifting as well. They're always innovating, which is awesome. The owner's a pretty cool guy, and the staff are pretty nice. So head over there for some great deals.
And before we go, we want to give a shout out to some Misfit sponsored athletes that are competing this upcoming weekend at Alberta's Strongest Man and Woman and Canada's Strongest Man. We got Ryan Jabs, hopefully bringing home first place this year as Alberta's Strongest Man. Brad Shepard going to Canada's Strongest Man. Then multiple female athletes going up to right outside of Edmonton. We got Therese, Megan, Sam. Good luck to everybody doing it.
Yeah, go and kill it, guys. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in to Two Guys, One Bitch.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
And don't forget to eat big,
train hard,
and always be fight ready.